Welcome, everyone, to the lifting for Tuesday, January 23rd, 2018. As many of you know right now, I am Joanna Michaels, one of your hosts, and joining me tonight are of course, my co-hosts, Katrina Schaff and Christopher Stephen Jacobs. We want to thank you for starting the second year of the lifting with us, and it's hard for all of us to believe that actually a year has flown by, and actually that we're already to January 23rd. So anyway, thank you all so much for joining us. As always, I tell people, please come visit us at the website, thelifting2017.wixsite.com/the lifting to see everything that we are up to. If you've never listened to us before, we always say start at the beginning, which happens to be a year ago, where we started with our blogs and corresponding shows. And if you've not gone to Chris's YouTube site, you may want to visit that. It's not hard to get to because there's more there than just the lifting shows that you see on the lifting website. If you actually go to the YouTube, www.youtube.com, and then there's a search box. If you just put in Christopher S. Jacobs, what you're going to find, it will come up to his YouTube channel. So yesterday, we actually decided to put up a YouTube of something kind of impromptu, which happens to us a lot, where a guide will come in and have something very meaningful that they wish to talk about, and we decided to go ahead and record that and put it up. It was relating to Mars and some of information about Mars that is not out there. So we've gotten really good replies. A lot of people have already looked at it, and so we are going to probably do more of them. They'll just be impromptu as guides and different people come in. We, in general, just have a discussion. Chris likes to just channel. I'm the one pretty much left to trying to ask as many questions as possible. And again, if you haven't heard the Mars one, please give us feedback whether you like this as well, and we'll continue to post more of those. So let's get started on tonight's show. Tonight is all about our personal reflections regarding the highs and lows of 2017. And again, we all thank each and every one of you who have supported us on this journey to date. We have been blessed with getting to know many of you and feel a little less lonely because of it. So thank you all. So let's get to it. But first, as always, we would like to do an affirmation and blessing. And Chris, would you do tonight's?
Sure. This one is from Isaac. This is surprising because this is actually more profound than he usually gets. So, to all listening, there are histories untold to you that those supposedly in the know do not yet even ponder. Isaac. So, I will go on. 2017 was a great year for my personal growth and understanding. When I reflect on some of our shows, I think about the following. We are actually talking about brief synopses of certain shows that actually affected us in some way or form, or helped us to grow in some way or form. So the first one that I came to was episode 11, which was the free energy episode. I know people thought this was going to show the history for free energy devices. However, this episode was very different. This touched on the very jugular or crux of the very energy that is stolen from us on an almost hourly basis. Some people asked me how I knew of these church, temple, and historical site energy collectors and soul traps, meaning that they had heard about these energy collectors many years ago but were too afraid to let the information out. What I did not know when this episode aired that I know now is that some pyramids, even the beloved Valley of the Kings in Egypt, are and always have been energy collection sites, not just the free energy network we all think that we know about. There are even cube-shaped buildings for the sexual trade in circles that are also energy collection sites. All of these places are hidden in plain sight with markers on the outside warning cabal members not to approach, or even to approach, depending on whether or not it is a sexual voyeur type site or strictly an energy collection site. I've actually learned a lot about this technology lately that is based in, it's basically a bastardization of sacred geometry, And it is actually very easy to feel when you're near one of these sites. You start to feel drained, your feet start to hurt, it feels like your legs are going to collapse. Some people have told me they feel numbness in the feet, pain, feels like they're becoming crippled, or even that they're nauseated or wanting to vomit. So there are, when you're near one of these sites, you will be able to tell if you're sensitive enough to it.
And then what should people do about it, Chris?
Yes, when you come in contact or feel that you have come in contact with one of these energy collectors, I see this in almost every one of my reads. People don't know, that haven't heard this before, don't know what's afflicted them. And there are several revocations that you can do. I'm not going to go through all the revocations. What I am going to do, I'll just tell you which ones they are. It's the revocation of the Harvester Energy Network, the Arconian Binary Network, and revoking any contracts and or bindings that you may have inadvertently agreed to by walking in a church, temple, or on a historical site, energy collector / soul trap site, and or battlefield. That happened at Gettysburg as well. So I'm going to go on to the next one. This is probably the biggest one of the bunch here. The episode 12, the 100-year disclosure. And this is the one that we've gotten kind of the most flack from. So this is the episode that shocked people the most of all. Out of every other scary or every bit of decrepit information that we have received and shared, this has been the topic that I've seen the most backlash from. But people get very angry over this subject. They think and feel that since they are ready for alien contact and know, or think that they know, all of the Cabal's dirty little secrets, that everyone else must fall into line. I want to tell you all that I used to feel this way. I was right there with the disclosure crowd to fight to make this happen. Then I found out about the for and against trickery portrayed by the spindly beings or harvesters. Then my views on all things changed. I had been in direct participation with one of the greatest and most sly tricks of all time. Violent revolution has been tried against these beings for centuries, but has failed each and every single time. But let's see. Okay. The only time violence works against these beings is if one is quick enough to hit them before they know what hit them. However, the amount of people that were actually able to pull this off have been few and far between. It was still most likely part of the very same trick to lure everyone into a false sense of security, so that they, the people, would think that an armed revolution was indeed possible. Even though this won't take 100 years to pull off, more like 20 years, it is still far better than a full-on harvest of humanity that would never be remembered by the survivors. Remember, folks, just live your lives to the fullest they can be. Be your own saviors and don't always look to the skies for one. However, look to the skies for possible signs of our galactic friends showing that they are indeed watching. The disclosure and disinfo throughout the arts. This is where we discussed how both good and bad sides display disclosure in movies and TV, books, and even music and music videos. There is so much disclosure out there right in front of our very eyes. People need to pay attention to the fact that the true information that they have been sitting at home waiting for is indeed already out there. There is good out there, everyone, waiting in the winds for us to take notice and take charge of our very own time and space. Yes, they do speak, but do we truly listen? Episode 19, Let's Play Chess. This is the topic that, as I previously stated, got me off the full disclosure Band-Aid rip path. Knowing that this is and always has been the primary source of food for the harvesters for millennia, the way to beat them at their own game of chess is to not play the game at all. Episode 20, Dream On. It was shocking to me the amount of Dreamtime invasions that we get on a nightly basis. The invaders use and have used tactics that are so subtle that virtually no one has known how to see through them. Some of the most strange, weird, and creepy dreams can be the most informative to these ill tactics. Granted, dreams are supposed to be where we gather divine information, learn about our past lives and other expressions, as well as communicate with our beloved galactic friends. However, it has partially become a playground for the wicked ilk of creation. Even our scariest and most stressful forgotten times are remembered here because of these beings. It is up to us to take back our dream space and revoke any and all ill dealings made within it. Episode 22, Ra Group and Our Earthly History. This was yet again another moment where I was shocked. I had heard stories of the Ra Group being evil, but I never in a million years believed that some of my beloved guide friends were on the wrong side. Well, it was not a matter of right or wrong, but the fact that a once proud and noble race of avian beings got captured and turned into deceptive servants, telling humanity that our karma was tied to theirs. The reality of this is that the Ra Group, at least the members that had been within the sacred Ul tone, as they call it, were compromised long ago. So long ago that this part of the history was long lost to us as a race. Like they once did for the harvesters, we now do for them in an effort to believe that there is good in virtually everyone. Yes, there is indeed good, but groups such as the Rotted Ra members, Orion Greys, and Assyrian Greys should never be given blanket amnesty. Though some of the Rotted Ra have been strong enough to come to people for help, they are still bound to their AI captors, and extreme caution should be heeded. It is also important to remember that not all avian species were inducted into the AI harvesters. The owl beings are a prime example of this, as are any other avian galactics not of the aforementioned compromised sacred Ul tone. Do I believe they, the true Ra Group, can make a comeback? Yes, I do, but only time will tell. As for my own personal struggles of the year, you wonder? It has been the hardest for me to truly transmute my very own warrior tendencies into an energy wavelength suitable for this new energy paradigm. My SSP memories included so very much warfare and bloodshed, as do most of my previous lifetimes. Even being near military installations brings back old memories of events that no one has ever heard of or will anytime soon, but through me. The warrior is very important and must always be present in our society as a means of defense. To evolve does not necessarily mean that the warrior vanishes, but for that is also part of the trick. You see, the warrior energy existed to change one thing to another thing, one conceptual idea to another's, and as need be, defend others against greater threats. But what it was not ever meant to be for slaughter, mayhem, and barbarism. Defend yourself and home life, but also know that that energy can be transmuted into an energy wavelength more powerful than the hand wielding the sword. Now is the age of magic. The gun dies as the sword now sows seeds of balance, of science and spirituality. So far, in 2018, we took a trip back to Yuma. And this was actually probably not something I should have ever attempted, given the very first time of what happened to me in Yuma. I believe we've already spoken about that first part. I came to find out that in my, I'll just say my SSP time, for lack of a better description of the old memories, I found out that I had actually been on that military proving grounds in that forgotten time. And that's why that energy afflicted me the most, as it was bringing back some of these horrendous training periods that I'd been under. And what was very strange about this dream that I had regarding Yuma when we came back the next time, after we had had more of a horrendous time than we did before, this was very odd to me, where I was getting bits and pieces of a memory being in a Middle Eastern-looking desert environment, which Yuma looks exactly like what you'd expect the Middle East to look like, and that's why they train soldiers there for that purpose. What it was going on was I could see that there were military people questioning me, like I was being briefed, But in this instance, unlike a couple of the other times I had this happen, I couldn't answer the questions correctly. I couldn't give them the information they wanted. It was gone, or I was in more of a dumb state or a stupor, and they knew someone else was protecting me and keeping me from this. And Michael explained to me if I had been able to be debriefed, I would have been in more danger than I realized. So the guides helped out by taking some of that information from me. But there was this one mystery that popped up in this set of dreams. One of which was one of the people asking me questions. They were wondering what the circumference of the moon was, which anybody that goes on Google could look this information up. It's not like it's a military secret. That was a complete mystery to me. My intuition tells me that it's bigger than a bigger circumference than what's reported. That's just only a vague intuition. And the second mystery that has popped up, anybody listening knows what, if they know what this is, please let me know. There was a courtyard with people around it. I want to call it a courtyard, but it's like it was an empty lot surrounded by people in tables under like awning or a tent, like you'd probably see our soldiers in the Middle East. There were trenches dug in the ground inside of an already lowered pit. And within these trenches, these perfectly dug trenches, were 4 wooden boxes with ventilation vents on the top, and each box had supplies within it. And one of the military people that was talking to me acted as if I should know what these things are. They said I contributed to making these things, that they helped and saved a lot of people. And I had no idea what they were. I couldn't even name what they were. Because that's how fragmented the memory is. But I just had this distinct feeling like it was important in some way, like it pertained to something important. But that's one of the bigger mysteries that came out of Yuma. So if anybody knows what those are, please let me know. That's what, okay.
And let me just say, because I know that when we talked about that you felt that you were being suppressed and couldn't recall that, which actually ended up being intentional. The guides pretty much piped up and said, "You betcha, we were not let you going to remember such things," because there was apparently an attempt, as good military would do, to bring back into the fold some of their own, and the goal was, if you could recall all of their questions or whatever, maybe it was time for you to come back and work for them, basically, is what we found out. Yes. So he's curious about what they were, but yet the guides blocked him from knowing what anything was, to not be able to answer a single question, so that he would literally be of no use to the military-industrial complex.
So they would never want me back.
So they would never want him back. That's what the guide said. But anyway, his curiosity is still there, wanting to know what they are. He just doesn't want to seem to let this drop, and maybe he should, but that's just my opinion. But anyway, I will say that on a good note, one interesting thing that we, saw afterwards and found out afterwards was that indeed when Cameron did what he did and kind of helped to crack the barrier, that there were elementals waiting, to begin to come in. I had an interesting, a dream that occurred because of something that I didn't quite understood, but it was about an important elemental who's been waiting to get into that area, like you set up shop waiting. And one of the interesting things is that no human had noticed and invited them in. So through this process, we learned about the importance of inviting elementals in and benevolent ones in. So obviously we took the moment then to, please, for the sake of humanity, please, I invite you to come into this Yuma area and help to start the transformation. So I say that in general as a point out there to everyone, that on your properties and on different things, just remember, take the time, recognize that elementals are around, that they're good, and invite benevolent ones in, even to your home and your property. Invite them in to set up shop. Just remember, make sure you are stressing that you want the benevolent elementals in, and please do that, because they oftentimes are quite respectful and await for you to notice that they exist and then ask them to come on in. So I just wanted to add that there, that Yuma, that there is some movement in that area, and we all, again, pray for the people of Yuma and the land of that area to please heal as quickly as possible.
All right. That's great. So now we can go on to what my mother wants to say about 2017.
Good evening, everyone. What a year 2017 was. Reflecting back on that year, certain subjects stood out for me, and I loved one of the most recent topics, which was our 12/12 show on tradition. The main idea for me was it does not matter what the real truth is about the holidays. If our traditions and beliefs of the holidays make us joyful, then continue with them, believe in the magic, and decorate your world. I received a lot of positive responses on the Feng Shui show. It told us that color, sound, and objects placed properly in our home and office, both inside and out, can strengthen positive energy. Also, that removing clutter lets the energy flow in a balanced manner, which brings our homes and us into a peaceful surrounding and keeps us in balance and at one with all things around us. I had a least favorite subject was on our Halloween show on ghosts. The part about soul traps is a subject that I do not like to hear or speak about. Are soul traps true? Yes, I believe so, but I choose to avoid this subject and I pretend I didn't hear it. Sometimes being an ostrich with my head in the sand helps me sleep better at night. But if I have to say what moved me the most, it was two channelings. I was honored to have come through me. One was Joyous on the subject of joy, and the other was Michael, that was read during our 100-year disclosure on March 28th. This is my channeling on joy from our wonderful friend, Joyous. Through the depths of waters, across the land, through the winds that blow, through the galaxies of space, I come to bid you hello by my name, Joyous. I'm here to bring to all love and comfort. I know you're all having difficult moments during this period on earth, but please keep the faith in knowing that peace starts within. Don't get wrapped up in so many distractions, and don't use precious energy on things that do not please you or give you comfort. Everyone should do their best to send love and light and continue to speak to people and make their lives better from your words that come from your heart. Serving people can make the journey easier. I'm not telling you to forget the things that are not of the highest in this world, because that should never happen, but dwell on the beauty of what surrounds you and send the good and the bad issues healing energy. Just keep looking at the sky, the animals, pictures of loved ones, flowers, stars, rain. Listen to music and dance. Make love and make life your canvas. Paint the world, the universe, as you want it to look like and feel like. It will be your masterpiece, and it does change things. Never doubt that every kind act, every prayer, every service you give to others, and every truth you speak always makes a difference and makes the light shine brighter. Acceptance, dear one, is the key to all peace. Accepting each other with all the differences is the key to joy. Don't think so hard and analyze so much, but trust that what effort you make shall be enough. Your voice and the sound of your voice will be heard on the frequency for the right ones to hear. Believe in yourself as we believe in all of you. If you stumble and fall, get back up and soar on the wind, knowing that all mistakes are honored, because mistakes turn to beauty marks on your character. There are no failures. Just continue to try and do what your heart says to do. Accepting, surrendering, honoring, respecting, and seeking your own truth is everyone's true calling. Love one another, and you will find your calling and the peace you so much desire. We love and support you and will always be there to talk to you and help you move to the next part of your life, or as you call it, the next dimension. My and our hearts touch yours, and your soul is part of us. This makes us happy and so proud to be blended with your energy. Be in joy, dear ones, and make your joy your middle name. I leave with respect for what you will contribute, and in love for who each and every one of you are. I am Joyous. Thank you, Joyous. The following channel was from Michael. It is a powerful message that moved me, and apparently a lot of you. I get many requests for this channel, and many ask to hear it again. So that's what I'm going to do. Hello, spiritual warriors, or at least that is what we want you to be. This is what the universe wants you to be. Please understand, I am not directing this information at any one specific being or any specific part of your planet or any place in the universe, but I am generalizing so that the ones that can't hear or remember the many times this has been discussed may finally hear the words and understand what needs to be done, so the things you so desperately want can come about. You all want full disclosure, right? I do not think this is happening anytime soon. You may get a hint now and then on how it's going to be or how it will come about, but the work is in your hands. You want us to bring this full disclosure about? But there are so many of you that just want and don't do. There are changes that must be done in your personal life, the interaction between countries, and learning to accept differences in all beings. First, stop focusing on how we can get rid of the cabal. The cabal comes under so many names throughout history. In fact, we could call everything and everyone that is negative, causing war, showing discrimination, damaging the planet, hurting our animals, polluting our oceans, so on and so on. We could call them cabal. Yes, the cabal is evil. You are in its grips and it is hurting people, but you're also hurting yourselves and others too. You want paradise? Then you must start creating it right now in yourself. Once you clean your closet, then let it spread to everyone else. Each individual is responsible for themselves first, and then once they have taken care of their stuff, then and only then can you spread the light. Here are my questions for everyone. Can you love yourself enough to let go of the past traumas? Can you love others enough to forgive the cause of the trauma? Can you really accept the truth of everything you know not being anything that it is? Can you take control of your life and live it in a manner that is an example to others so that they want to be just like you? Can you believe in yourselves long and hard and consistently enough to stay protected and spread the light energy to all that see you? Can you live in balance, harmony, and ignore the fear that is thrown at you every day of your life? Please ask yourself those tough questions because they make a difference in when and where and how full disclosure and a well-lived existence will come about. For the love of the Creator, for the love of yourself, for the love of all living beings, for the love of nature and animals, and especially for the change from dark to light, please move up the ladder and let yourselves be sacred. You have to quit hating, hurting, destroying, feeling sorry for yourself, fearing everything that is different than yourselves, and loving and accepting all things that came from the Creator of life. You want full disclosure? Then you must quit talking your talk and start walking your talk. The change of this planet is on your shoulders. Let go of the past. If you're not strong enough and brave enough to forgive and let go of hate and of hurt with your own kind, your own family, and your own friends, then how will you act when the curtain falls and you see things as they really are? I reiterate, I'm not talking about all light workers because I know so many of you are doing the best that you can. I know how many of you are doing exactly what we ask of you. But unfortunately, there are just too many that have not evolved to an energy level of love and light for us to bring forth this major change you are beseeching of us for. What would you do if all of a sudden nothing was the same? Nothing changes overnight. You cannot even accept the differences in where someone comes from on your planet. You do not accept race, color, gender, and in some cases, people's faces, their bodies, their personal beliefs, or how they choose to live their life and with whom they live it with. How would you even accept me showing up on your doorstep? I'm anything from what you would consider normal in stature and energy, and I am the light being that will help usher in the changes you want. You must love one another for exactly what they are and make no exceptions because they are not just like you. You are going into the fifth dimension, and the energy is intensifying. You probably have noticed that there are changes in the people around you. Some people cannot handle the truth on a soul level or handle this intense energy that this dimension is bringing. You either handle this energy by adjusting your belief system, opening your heart, going into acceptance of yourself and others, raising your protection by living and wearing the light inside and out of you. Well, or we will basically fall apart. Excuse me. You're probably noticing some people going off the deep end, acting irrational, and losing themselves altogether. I cannot say this stronger or with more caring and love than this. You must raise your energy, get rid of your stuff that does not serve you. Stop blaming others for things that do not go well in your life and take responsibility for it, and continually walk and talk in the light. Spiritual warriors, let the light spiral in all directions. Dispel all negativity and spread the love and light like a tidal wave over the entire Creator's work. Let every word you speak, every prayer you pray, every footstep you take be on sacred ground. Do you understand? Stand up to hate, prejudice, war, abuse, and walk your talk in the light and not in your ego's belief system. Stay protected. Wear this protection with full faith that it works and with pride in knowing that you could only win this battle and achieve this new earth you so desire if you do it in love. Do you want a better life, a world, a universe? Then go make it this way. Believe in yourself and know that in your soul you are doing everything to put an end to the vicious circle that needs to be broken. Please know that we are not angry with you or disappointed in you. Sometimes we just have to tell you what the truth is. We know times are difficult, and we are battling this difficult time with you. We watch over you. We hear your prayers. We encourage you through your guides and angels. We see you when you hurt, and we cry for you. We rejoice when you are happy, and we celebrate with you. You're not walking this path alone. We walk with you, and we will carry you when you fall. Our love for you is eternal, no matter what path you choose. We are about love, and dear ones, we love you. Michael. Thank you, Joyous and Michael, for two of the best channelings we've ever heard. The best thing of the year, though, and any year, are all the friends we have made. There is no show that tops these friendships. Thank you so much for being part of our lives and for your continued support. And thanks for listening.
So that leaves me for last. I guess in all honesty that I have to say that so many things have happened to me in 2017 that I really do not know where to start, and I could talk all of your ears off for many hours to come. But since I have to choose, let me say that the one thing I did not expect was to find out a bit more about myself and family lineage and how my family had been connected to the dark agenda for multiple generations past. And this was spoken about on the show entitled The Arconian Binary Network. As Source and the guides would do, this understanding would have actually never occurred except that my own father was just speaking one night of his father, who was Army enlisted, and he was in World War II. He was speaking in a moment of pride for his father, who I actually always saw as just an alcoholic and a bit mean, and did not seem to have anything other than an average life. But at that moment, my father was speaking in great pride because he was saying, with all his flaws, that my grandfather was a smart man. And he was recognized for being smart while he was in the Army because Wernher von Braun kept him around him. And as I said on the show, when that name came out of my father's mouth, talking about my grandfather being around him, my knees began to buckle because I never, ever expected that name to come out. Never. This is when we learned that it was more than just those evil aliens who were trying to dominate and control with their special technology, but humans created something to do the same, the Arconian Binary Network. My grandfather came through to tell us all about it and the fact that it started in my family 2 generations before him. You see, the darkness needs smart worker bees to help create some of their horrors. And normally, if a family is identified as being useful, then it keeps them in service for generations. And then I found out something that really made me sad, that some people are harder to control than others. Certain genetics makes it harder for some of the drugs and mental influences to fully take effect. So my grandfather was an alcoholic because he knew of the direct horrors going on. He was controlled due to the knowledge that his loved ones would be tortured and killed, period. I had no idea and actually spent a good part of my life not liking this man. The drugs and ways of controlling people were enhanced since his time. But again, the genetics make some hard to control and memories come back, which apparently I inherited that same gene. So I relooked at my whole life and understood better why me. But the sadness of what he had to endure remains, although I know he does not want me focusing on that, but it really kind of at times is hard not to. So with a better understanding of the depths of domination and control, not only by aliens, but by humans as well, this takes me to the next aha moment of discovery, and that was the discovery of something that can combat these influences to provide a better environment to live authentically, which is Orgonite. We covered this on several different shows, all the ins and outs of what it is and how it helps. But most importantly, we learned about how the intent of the creator of the product means everything. Understanding this made me really have to take to heart that everything is living, and some things exist as an amplifier to those thoughts or intents. I really did not get this until now. So I'm not going to bore you with going through it all again. You can go listen to those episodes. But what I do want to say is this. Crystals are programmable, and they can be used as tools for good or darkness. Quartz crystals are plentiful. Much of our earthly surface contains rocks that have quartz in them, as well as the sand on the beaches. Understand that it is programmable with your intent. And if you really take that into your heart, then you can see things all around you that can aid in changing this world into a better place. So in this instance, for 2018, please see yourself as powerful and your intent as powerful, and then do something. Go out and pick up some of these free rocks. Hold them and put all of your best intent for the land and the world into them. You can just say the Law of One prayer to them if you want. Then throw them into the nearest waterway. See that energy flowing from them and beginning to affect the land around, and see the domino effect of one water molecule transmitting this energy to another and innervating all the land around with this intent as well. This is a secret the darkness does not want you to know. How to bring back into balance the world around you in the simplest of ways. Teach your children and grandchildren how to do this. This is a way to make a claim to how you want this world to be that is powerful, very, very powerful. You will nurture yourself as you are in nature collecting these things and feel more empowered with every stone you bless and drop. Also, declare lands neutral and ask benevolent nature beings entities to come in and bless the lands. That is something free. Everyone can do this. So the lows for me for this year, well, I had a hard time seeing those around me in pain. So I had to really understand that this oppression and how it can affect you on a daily basis is actually real, very, very real. It's one thing to intellectualize it, but a whole other level to experience it and see those around you suffer with it as well. It is a horribly helpless feeling. It led me to one moment when I got my on and had my head in my hand saying uncontrollably, because I was that drunk, that I did not know what else to do. Yep, I went there, and honestly, I rarely drink. But again, I dusted myself off, and the others around me would dust themselves off, and we talked about it and remained unified and continued on, which leads me to the one of the proudest moments for myself and those around me, which is the source-given perseverance to continue in spite of it all. So for all of us out there who have suffered from oppression and are still listening to the sound of my voice, well, pat yourself on the back. We are all here. We are all here, and we are standing. I know for me, each time this has occurred, it just reinforced the facts as I know them and made me mad and reminded me of how much I love people and want this to stop. It was that love for all of us and our source-given right to this moment to move forward that grew something from my heart space and gave me the strength, which leads way to the most important thing that I learned, that the frequency and power coming from the heart space is stronger than the frequency of fear and hate. That even if you needed to physically defend a loved one, that the power that comes from the love of that person and not the hate you may have for the one causing harm, which is the greater force. Pulling from that energy is where you have heard of so many miracles, where the so-called David has defeated the so-called giant. That energy from the heart space creates something greater than that of the intellect or mind. So, as we move forward into 2018 and beyond, I think we will be discovering more about this concept called love. And I think we will all be amazed that maybe this concept means way more than our current understanding. That maybe it really means being able to co-create on so many different levels. The source of all holds the greatest ability to love. The source can control all of itself, us included, if the source wanted to. So let's say that another name for the source is infinite intelligence. So what is love? Well, maybe it is the ability to take infinite energy and mold infinite intelligence. So here we are, just in the beginning of learning that we are energy. We are a little spark of infinite energy. And once we really get that, then how can we, as a spark of energy, wield this infinite intelligence around and within us to make something, to co-create? And in this sense, we learn to love and continue to grow and co-create more, and thus learn about love more and more and more. Not as weak and pathetic, love-struck hippies, but as strong and unstoppable little sparks of the divine who have seen through the programming lies to understand the world around us a bit better, allowing us to change the world into the place we wish it to be in. No physical head chopping needed. Just the understanding of the strength of the heart space and the amazing co-creative abilities we have within us. And that is the most important thing I learned. So I turn it over to you, Chris. What do you think the Galactics have to say about it?
Well, all I know is there are dozens and dozens and dozens of different galactics around. And even Jesus, Michael, Germain, and several others that are the sentries in this area. Everybody is here, but including family members as well, other family members as well. So there's one specific group that actually stepped forward that wanted to speak. They are an avian species. These are not the owl beings, nor any blue avian or any other raw affiliate or anything like that. This is a group that I have not seen for at least a year. They call themselves the Voice, and they look like how we would have they look like ravens and crows actually, but they're more of an etheric elemental type form that spoke to me when I was in California, and I have not heard from them since. And there's even another group that spoke to me while I was in California that I haven't spoken to since as well. They're a group of nature beings as well. So I'll see who wants to speak first. Okay, yeah, I thought so. It was the Voice. So I'll see what they want to bring through. All I know is they barge their way to the front of the line. So I'm thinking the others are here to make sure they have a clean transmission. So I will see what they want to say. All I know is the energies get really high in here. And I'm seeing more and more energy that's getting higher in here, the more galactics I'm looking at. So that's looking at me. So let me see here. Give me a minute. They're coming in nice and slow because they are very high density. Give me a minute. Greetings. We are the Voice. We are a sound tone that exists within your quantum field. We introduced ourselves more than a year ago. However, the reason the Voice does not take prevalence is this: the blockages that all of you have suffered of late speak to you in dark corners and in dark whispers and in ear whines and tones. The true Voice sees this voice of shadows and asks that this voice of shadows be forever blocked from your sight and auditory senses. Yes, both your sight visually and your auditory senses can sense these particular dark voices of shadows. What we are speaking of are what you call voice-to-skull technology. This has become more prevalent than our voice has been able to utter beyond, because of the fact that your species needs to utter the tone necessary to elevate yourselves to the density of which is beyond that of the voices of shadows. In this, we are not saying that we are judging. Quite the opposite. We are here to teach. The Voice is here to help you supersede that of the voice of shadows. In this, we would say rise above, but that is an inaccurate analogy. Yes, humans understand this analogy of rising above, but what does rise above mean? It means that you are above everyone else. Oh no, this is not the case at all. You are equal standing to everyone else, even ourselves and your galactic friends. Just because you have different abilities and different, as you say, superpowers, does not mean that you're any different than one another. The voice sees this and challenges this voice of shadows, not in a game of chess or for and against mentalities. No. In this, we ask that you step outside of this most horrible of chess games and step outside of what you know of as scripted life. We are not saying not blending work life and home life. No, we are not saying step away from the jobs that you need currently. No, we would be ill in thought to say such words. In this, you can always take the job that you are currently in, find joy within it, and take that joy, and take your voice and spread that to the thing that you wish to do. We're saying use this system against itself by actually spreading this joy and voice throughout the areas and corners of your planet that these voices of shadows exist. In this, you will kick loose the puppet strings of dark masters, as you come to call them. This is also an ill conception, because you have no one that has mastery over you. This is an illusion, dear ones. This is a definite, horrible, and nasty illusion that must be rid of in your current day and age. If you wish this year to be success, this year must not include the voices of shadows or the tones of dark entities wishing to survive into the next age. These faceless ones, these ones that only know a dark voice. We are the voice that will help you, but you must carry yours louder, but also softer than you have in current days and ages past. Thank you. All right. They, like I said, they do not come through very often. It's because, like I said, they were being blocked. We have said in a couple shows past now that the Arconian Binary Network's volume was turned up. And that was no lie, because they had a hard time cutting through it. So in this, they want us to meet them halfway so that they can come in even further. And other galactic friends can come in further and speak to people on this telepathic level. The voice-to-skull technology, from what I understand it, is beginning to mimic more these guide voices and even visualizations within your own head. That's why he said insight and sound, meaning also the third eye. This is what that group was inferring. And I have been seeing this a lot lately. The sight has become fairly fuzzy, and this is mostly the reason for it. I may have, these abilities heightened, but I have not become totally immune to this. So I know other seers are being afflicted by this, by giving false channelings and giving false messages of saviors coming from the sky, mass arrests, all of this other nonsensical junk that's out there, ascending into 4D in a burst of energy. These things have been becoming more and more prevalent nowadays. I'm not slamming any of these people. I am actually more or less slamming the entities that are causing this dark voice of shadows, as the voice said, to give them false messages of hope and just false messages in general. And I'm asking the voice now help come in and help clear this up, but we must meet them halfway. So now let's see. Does any of these other hundreds of galactics that I'm seeing around want to speak? No, not you, Isaac. No, because there would just be a string of cursing and nobody would get anything done. Okay. Let's see, who else? Somebody. Who's that? I can barely see who this is to my right. Barely see your frequency. I need to see you a little clearer, please. Thank you. This would be Simeon that wants to come through. He recently went up to the 8th density, and I've had a tougher time communicating with him because of this. And like what the voice said, us meeting them halfway, he's wanting me to meet him halfway in frequency so that we can speak as normal, like we always have. But obviously, he had something important to say, or he wouldn't have showed himself this way. So, let's see here. Okay. Give me a minute. He comes in even slower. He takes his time now, ever since he's gone through his audit. Greetings, all of you. Forgive the slow speak. My density has risen a bit. My name is Simeon, as you know me to be. I have come in to ask of you only one thing. In this moment in which you find yourselves, meet your higher aspirations to their limit and to beyond that limit. What I mean is this: anything out there that you wish to do or want to do in this world, do this as you see fit. Do not do this because we asked this of you. Do not do this because a boss asks you not to do this, or restricts you in some way, or causes you to be lower than what you truly are. You are masters of your own domain, which means no human has sovereignty over your sovereignty. They have sovereignty over their own individual bubble or their individual space, but not that encompassing all in each and every one of you. Take your job, for instance, one you work at that you do not wish to. Why not break free from this, but also transition properly over to something you wish to do? Using this system against itself is the way of things nowadays. People say, oh, in this business you shouldn't earn money, or, oh, you should be working a proper job. Not at all. These are ill for and against concepts, which have no merit in this current day and age. What has merit in this current day and age is that you find your true calling, be authentic, live in the moment, and transition over to what you wish to do. This is Simeon, and I bid all of you a good night and blessings. All right. All right. And I now know the reason why there's all these galactics here. They're buffering the ill voices. So, let me see here. Is there anyone else that wishes to speak in the last few minutes? As I know, I do believe I saw someone in the Q&A question box down here. And so I want to give that person a chance to speak, but I'll see if any of the other galactics want to go. Okay, Simeon. Okay, yeah, I'll call it there. Okay, yeah, he's giving me the little. No, that's we're done. Okay, they're just all here to buffer these ill waves. Yes, Isaac, you're included. Okay, let's see. Okay, I can see. It looks like we have one person, so I will answer the call. Welcome to the lifting.
Hello, Christopher, and everybody there. This is Lourdes. How are you?
Good, Lourdes. How are you doing this evening?
I'm doing great, thank you. And everything that was said tonight is very apropos for my question. My question has to do with my practice. I am a hypnotherapist, and I have, and you know, of course, my son Edward. And he's been having problems with his back. So I have hypnotized him a couple of times, but every time I sense a lot of resistance. And I know that since our intention is to be of service to others, there might be interference in not achieving what we are supposed to be achieving. So my question has to do, is it that is mother and son, and we still need to work something between us, or is it more the interference from, I say, negative sources that is not allowing it to happen? Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah, most definitely. That makes sense. Yes, very much could be issues, not just between you two here. This could be either past life related, current lifetime related, that could be blocking the lower akeshic, which is at the base of the spine, and it will cause ripple effects through the entire spine. This is why the dark attachments like to harness the lower spine, so we don't access this in new information. We don't unfold this. So, yes, doing a self audits would work wonders. What I mean by this is just auditing your own histories to see if there's anything that needed to be corrected, any ill issues or lower vibrational moments that need to be corrected, either in past life or current, or even dimensional interferences. But however, these bad guys do have to have something to latch on to. Even if it's minor, they can just blow it out of proportion to the point that it doesn't serve you at all. And so what you do is you just find out what that issue is and rid yourself of it. I found out once that took place that it cleared up a lot. I have back issues from time to time too in the lower back, and that usually is an indicator to me that there's something to correct that is indeed going on. I do pick up that it is definitely between you two, but it is not current. It's not current. Something bubbling to the surface that source wants it audited and gotten rid of. That it is just sitting in the lower back, and sometimes it can echo up the back as well to middle and upper.
So, Zena, since this kind of, I know everyone kind of has this, and we're in the new year, do you think you want to maybe, with them, but with everyone who's listening right now, to kind of sweep out the old and the new, maybe walk everyone through a kind of request of a self-audit for their current present self, something that everyone can do as well?
Oh, yeah, that'd be perfect. What I tell people to do in situations like this is the source is basically telling you that it wants you to accept an audit of your current moment of energies that no longer serve you. So do you, and then you can show this to Edward as well, and anyone that's listening to this or on the recording, go ahead and say yes to this if you feel this serves you. Do you now currently audit your current present self?
Yes, I do.
Yes. Okay. Yes. So do I. And any people listening to this can do this as well. I feel that there isn't an instantaneous thing. I came to find out while we're in the human form, it can span a while, depending how quickly someone can catch on to what needs to be brought to the surface and released. And I did not know how prevalent this process was until I started going through that. I saw the guides going through this very same process as well from ancient times. Sometimes it would seem instantaneous to me, but it really wasn't, since they're sitting in a density that's not in our own time space. It just seemed like it was instantaneous, but it's a process. But I do feel that his back pain will lessen once these things are found out and released. And also I feel there can be some dimensional strain there too, and like what I call the dimensional wheel, where there could be entities trying to enter in through other dimensional means, not through his body, but through his sacred akeshic centers in other dimensional wavelengths. These could be in frequencies that are extremely obscured, and these entities would be hiding somewhere in there. Dealing with any issue that they're latching onto would just release them automatically. I've noticed this. They usually will just detach from you if they have nothing to latch onto to begin with. So I hope that's helpful to you.
Yes, very helpful. And may I just add a little bit to it? Edward is expecting, of course, medical attention, because he does have some hardware that's been previously implanted some 20 years ago or something. So is that hardware going to come out if they do surgery?
I would like to feel that it would, if it no longer needed to be there. Okay, yeah, the guides are all nodding to me, the ones that are here still. Okay, yep, Simeon. Okay, there you are. Yeah, I feel that. I feel like this could be removed. I feel this is part of that audit process. Think of it that way, like a former injury. Think of like going through the audit process and that thing being removed being part of that audit process. It's more of a redundancy or some kind of obstruction that doesn't need to exist now.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, Lourdes. You have a good rest of your evening.
Likewise, and a Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you, too.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right. I know we're a few minutes over, but that was awesome. That gave me a chance to explain that process. So it looks like we are at the end of our show this evening. So my mother will give the last affirmation and blessing.
I looked through all the channelings and personal affirmations that we had last year, and this one was my favorite. There comes a point when you realize what is important and what is not. You learn to care less about what other people think of you and more about what you think of yourself. You realize how far you have come, and you remember when you thought things were such a mess that you would never recover. Then you stop and you smile. You smile because you are truly proud of yourself and the person you have fought to become.
Yeah, that was very good. Okay, now I will read the announcements for this evening. Thanks for joining us now or in the future. We are off next week, so our next show will be on Tuesday, February 6th. The next Q&A is on Tuesday, February 13th. And I wanted to say the February 6th episode is actually going to be a pre-recorded episode. So I will post on that day prior to us speaking with our guest that day. I will post a reading that I feel is relevant to now. It was a very awesome read that we did recently. So I will post that. But just know February 6th is going to be a pre-recorded, and I will get that edited fairly quickly. So thanks so much for joining us tonight on this episode of Lifting. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night, and thank you.